Have you ever noticed how terrifyingly fast time seems to slip through your fingers these days? Think back to when you were a kid. Back when you were 10 years old, a single summer vacation felt like an entire lifetime. You would wake up early as the morning sun just started warming up your room, and you had a sprawling, endless day ahead of you. You had enough time to build a secret hideout, go swimming, fall out with your friends and make up again, get lost in a good book, and explore the woods behind your neighborhood. Every single day was an absolute epic, packed to the brim with 1,000 different sights, sounds, and smells. Now fast forward to your last week. Monday simply dissolved into Friday. You blinked and a whole month vanished into thin air. You turned around and another year was gone. Suddenly we are hitting 40, 50, or 60 years old, and it feels like some invisible hurricane is tearing the pages right off the calendar. A lot of folks write this off as the tragic poetry of getting older, just the inevitable tax we pay for growing up. But the truth is actually rooted in cold, hard neurobiology. Your own mind is playing a brilliant trick on you, saving its energy by sacrificing your perception of time. Today, we are going to tear this illusion apart piece by piece so we can finally understand why our internal clock is totally out of whack and exactly how we can hijack it back. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to take a deep dive into the nuts and bolts of human psychology and biology. Your brain is a ridiculously demanding machine. Roughly 20% of every single calorie you eat goes straight to fueling that supercomputer inside your skull. Mother Nature designed us to survive in a harsh world, and survival means cutting corners and conserving energy wherever possible. When we were little, the whole world was a wild, uncharted frontier. Every weird bug, every new street corner, and every playground game demanded massive amounts of brain power. Your neurons were constantly wiring together, your synapses were firing off millions of tiny sparks, and you were weaving this incredibly dense tapestry of memories. Your hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that turns quick experiences into permanent files, was working double shifts just to log every tiny detail. And it is exactly this heavy load of fresh data that makes time feel so incredibly slow and stretched out. The more frames per second your mental camera records, the longer the movie feels when you play it back in your head. Just think about your late teens and early 20s. Psychologists call this window the reminiscence bump. You go through so many massive milestones like your first heartbreak, picking a career path, making your first huge mistakes, and finally moving out on your own. Your brain writes all of this down in bold ink. But then we get a little older and wiser. We figure out how the world works. We could drive to the office blindfolded. We know exactly how our morning coffee is going to taste, and we can predict exactly what our coworkers are going to say before they even open their mouths. Life smoothly transitions into a safe, cozy, and painfully predictable routine. This is exactly when your brain makes a choice that is absolutely brilliant for evolution, but completely devastating for your sense of time. It flips the switch to autopilot. Why burn precious fuel analyzing the world when you already know the punchline? Your mind literally stops recording the mundane footage of your day. You hop in the car or get on the train, and your awareness just checks out. You get from point A to point B, and your memory of the trip is just a blurry gray smudge. You brush your teeth, make the same scrambled eggs, and scroll through your emails entirely in your blind spot. Months can roll by without a single bright, colorful memory sticking out from the background noise. So when December rolls around and your brain tries to review the past 12 months, it only finds a handful of saved files instead of a massive library. The only logical conclusion it can draw is that barely any time has passed at all. This is the exact recipe for that terrifying feeling of shrinking years. We lose entire weeks simply because, as far as our brain is concerned, they never even happened. They get dumped in the trash like useless spam emails, just repetitive code that does not help us survive or grow. Modern neuroscience has a fantastic term for this called predictive coding. It basically means that a fully grown adult brain does not actually experience reality in real time. Instead, it just guesses what is going on based on the past. When you walk down your street, your eyes are open, but you are not really looking at the bricks on the houses or the shape of the clouds. Your brain just grabs a stock photo of your neighborhood from its archives and pastes it right over your vision. You are literally living inside your own expectations. This saves a ton of glucose, but it robs you of your present moment. Throw in the natural shift in your body chemistry, and things get even faster. In our youth, we are swimming in dopamine. That is the chemical that gives us that rush of excitement and motivation when we try something new. But as the years go by, our receptors get a bit numb, and genuine surprises become pretty rare. We get jaded. We tell ourselves we have been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. This mental fatigue is the ultimate gas pedal for your internal clock. On top of that, your perception of time is directly tied to your physical engine, like your heart rate and your breathing. Kids have faster racing hearts and a higher metabolism, so their internal rhythm is rapid, making the outside world look like it is moving in slow motion. As adults, our metabolism naturally cools down, our internal tempo drops, and it creates this powerful illusion that the universe has hit the fast-forward button. Let us do a quick thought experiment to prove this right now. Think about the last time you traveled somewhere completely new. Maybe it was a dream vacation overseas, a business trip to a strange city, or just getting totally lost in a neighborhood you had never visited. Think about that very first day. It felt like it lasted forever, right? You dropped off your bags, wandered around weird streets, stared at crazy architecture, ate food you could not even pronounce, and maybe spent an hour trying to find your way back to the hotel. By the time your head hit the pillow, you felt like you had been there for a week. Why does that happen? Because your autopilot crashed the second it hit unfamiliar territory. Your brain had to wake up in a panic and start paying attention again. It was starving for clues, building brand new mental maps, and sniffing out danger to keep you safe. It started filming your life in high definition again, just like when you were a kid. But think about what happened next. By day 3 or 4 of the trip, time started evaporating again. You found the shortcut to the coffee shop. You got used to the view from your balcony, and your brain happily went back to sleep to save energy. This is the absolute best proof that time is not some rigid law of physics. It is a highly flexible product of your own biology. And if we know how the code works, we can totally hack it. Socializing plays a huge part in this too. Have you ever noticed how hanging out with your oldest buddies feels comfortable but totally blurs together, while meeting a fascinating stranger sticks in your head for ages? When we are with people we have known for decades, our predictive coding kicks into overdrive. We know their jokes, we know their reactions, and we are floating in a warm bath of predictability. But throw yourself into a room full of strangers and your awareness spikes. You have to read their body language, figure out their sense of humor, and scan for common ground. Your mind is working overtime to process all this fresh social data. That is exactly why exploring new places with new people is the ultimate formula for slamming the brakes on your speeding clock. If your life feels like a runaway train, it is time to shake up your social circle. We also need to talk about how you are feeding your brain every day. We live in an era of endless, bite-sized distraction. We furiously swipe through feeds, skim tiny posts, and binge minute-long videos. This gives us a fake sugar rush of feeling busy, but none of it actually sticks. Your brain literally does not have the time to build a strong connection. You can stare at your phone for 3 solid hours, and by tomorrow morning, you will not remember a single thing you looked at. That time was not just spent, it was completely incinerated. So here is the million-dollar question. How do we force our tired, lazy brains to slow down and actually savor life again? How do we get back those long, beautiful weeks packed with meaning? The golden ticket is a magical little word called neuroplasticity. This is the absolute superpower of your brain. Its ability to rewire itself, grow, and adapt at absolutely any age. For the longest time, scientists thought that once you hit a certain age, your brain just turned to concrete and you were stuck with what you had. But modern science has completely shattered that myth. Whether you are 50, 60, 70, or pushing 90, your brain is dying to grow younger if you just give it the right spark. And that spark is novelty in all its messy, glorious forms. You have to drag your brain kicking and screaming out of its cozy little rut. Start tomorrow with the easiest stuff imaginable. Wreck your daily routine. If you have been driving the same exact route to work or the grocery store for a decade, go a completely different way. Make it longer, make it slightly annoying, make it weird. Your brain will jolt awake because it has to look at new houses, dodge different potholes, and actually pay attention to the road. Try brushing your teeth, stirring your coffee, or using your computer mouse with your non-dominant hand. It sounds totally ridiculous, but trust me, there is a massive electrical storm happening in your head when you do this. Your neurons are desperately bushwhacking new trails through the jungle just to do a simple task. You will instantly notice how a boring 2-minute chore suddenly feels like an eternity. Shake up your kitchen habits. If you always buy the exact same groceries, force yourself to grab some bizarre vegetable or foreign spice you have never touched. Cook a dinner from a culture you know nothing about. Smells and tastes are incredibly powerful triggers for building robust, long-lasting memories. But obviously, just using your left hand to hold a fork is not going to change your entire life. To really stretch out your years, you need deep, meaningful challenges. You need to dive headfirst into something you are terrible at. If you have spent your whole career crunching numbers, pushing papers, or fixing engines, go buy a canvas and some messy oil paints. Give yourself the incredible luxury of being a total beginner again. That raw, frustrating feeling of not knowing what you are doing is the exact medicine your brain needs to feel young. When you are struggling to mix colors or figure out how shadows work, you are reverting to that wide-eyed childhood state of wonder. If art is not your thing, tackle a new language. Do not do it to pass some test or get a promotion. Do it just to make your neurons sweat. Every single weird grammar rule or foreign word you memorize acts like a heavy anchor, grabbing onto the rushing river of your time and stopping it from washing away. Picking up a musical instrument is basically a time machine. Trying to coordinate your hands, listen to the notes, and read sheet music requires so much intense focus that time simply ceases to exist while you practice. But those hours get locked into your vault as massive, heavy building blocks that make your year feel rich and fulfilling. You also have to fight back against the endless scrolling by bringing slow, deep focus back into your day. Reading a thick, challenging novel or a dense history book forces you to concentrate for long stretches. When you slowly chew on a good book, you are constructing entire universes in your mind, painting faces and imagining landscapes. This is heavy lifting for your imagination, and it leaves behind a massive trail of solid memories. Do not forget about moving your body in weird ways either. Complex, unusual physical movements fire up your cerebellum and force your mind to map your body all over again. Try a dance class, try weird mobility exercises, or just go hike on a really rugged, messy forest trail instead of walking on a treadmill or flat pavement. When you are constantly stepping over slippery tree roots and dodging muddy rocks, your brain has to calculate every single step so you do not break an ankle. It snaps you into the present moment faster and harder than any fancy meditation app. Finally, there is one last incredibly powerful tool we always forget, and that is aggressive, deliberate observation. We have completely forgotten how to look at things. We are always rushing, always stressing about bills or chores, just gliding over the surface of the world with blank stares. You can change this today. Go sit on a random wooden bench in a busy park, take a huge breath of air, and force yourself to find exactly 5 things you have never ever noticed before. It could be the weird twisted bark on an oak tree, the crazy shape of a cloud passing by, the strange rhythm of a stranger walking their dog, or the way the afternoon sun hits a puddle on the pavement. Make your brain chew on this fresh data. Tell yourself in your head, I am sitting right here, I am looking at this exact tree, I feel this exact breeze on my face. When you muscle your attention back into the now, you literally hit pause on your internal clock. You stop living in the ghosts of the past or the panic of the future. You finally exist in the only place where time is actually real, right here, right now. Unfortunately, medical science has not figured out how to permanently stop our physical bodies from aging just yet. But you have absolute, total, undisputed power over how you experience your own time on this earth. Time is not your enemy. It only turns into a terrifying runaway train when you stop paying attention to it, when you surrender to the comfort of the rat race and give up on growing. Break out of that velvet prison. Ask stupid questions. Let yourself be amazed by little things and ruthlessly destroy your oldest habits. Give yourself permission to be a brave, curious explorer in this massive, beautiful, complicated world again. When you do that, you will witness absolute magic. Your days will stretch out again, heavy and thick with real joy and genuine purpose. You will wake up in the morning, look out the window, and know in your bones that you have an entire, beautiful little lifetime waiting for you before the sun goes down. Do not let your most valuable years slip into the void, leaving you with nothing but a bitter aftertaste and a whole lot of regrets. Paint every single day with loud colors, new faces, wild ideas, and unbroken trails. Your life is way too incredible to be lived on sleep mode. Grab the steering wheel, hold your head up high, and start writing a totally new, gloriously long chapter of your life today.